Well, welcome to Voices of Women. I'm Chris Stanis, your host, and I'm also the founder of Women of Wisdom Foundation. We are having our 29th annual Women of Wisdom Conference, March 11th through the 14th. And you can find out everything on our website about it at womenofwisdom.org. Our theme is Celebrating the Spirit of Women, United We Are One. So today I have with us one of our presenters, Rebecca Gould. She's giving a workshop, and this isn't her first year. She's a returnee, so we're so glad to have her back. Rebecca is a certified Qigong and meditation teacher, integrative nutrition health coach, and award-winning author of The Multi-Orgasmic Diet, Embrace Your Sexual Energy and Awaken Your Senses for a Healthier, Happier, Sexier You. She also recently published her second book, Detox Your Life. Rebecca has over 20 years of experience with energy work and has been a certified Qigong and meditation teacher since 2008, practicing Sheng Zhen, I'm going to say that right, Sheng Zhen, since 2006. In 2012, Master Li Junfeng, founder of the International Sheng Zhen Society, requested Rebecca's help with rewriting his instructional book, Sheng Zhen, Wuji, Yuan, Gong, Return to Oneness. It's hard to pronounce all those words correctly. So Rebecca's workshop is on March 12th. It's called Awaken the Soul. So welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, well, we're so glad to have you back again at this year's conference. It's important for us, and one of the reasons we do have you back, it's really good to include healthy practices such as Qigong and meditation for our participants. And also we like active, experiential, and where people learn things that they can take home with them for their healthy practices. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been studying meditation and Qigong, and then also tell us what, for your, what is Qigong and what is Sheng Zhen?
Sheng Zhen.
Sheng Zhen.
I feel like so much of the stuff I do has to be explained, and including pronunciation and not just the Sheng Zhen. So I'm used to it. And thanks for having me back in as a presenter. This will be the fourth year. I think we've kind of alternated like the sexual awakening stuff with the Sheng Zhen. So now we're back at Sheng Zhen. So I started off, well, I guess as a little girl, like as a little kid, my mom taught me some like meditation, like progressive relaxation, but then I didn't like really officially study it until much later. Energy work started though when I was 16, back in 1997 or 1996. I became attuned in Reiki, so I got into energy then, and I started reading about Qi and Qigong, but it wasn't until 2006 that I went to a workshop for Sheng Zhen. I was in a healing arts program in California. I had actually dropped out of law school to go to this healing arts program. I mean, I didn't drop out knowing I was going to go, but it was a program I had thought about going to before I even thought about law school. So it didn't take too long for me to actually go there. And while I was there studying Asian healing arts, I went to this workshop for Sheng Zhen, which at the time was called the Qigong of Unconditional Love. And I didn't know much about Qigong, and even the concept of unconditional love was kind of new to me, and like this heart opening idea. And I went to this workshop, and it turned out that it was all about opening the heart and enjoying the movement. My idea of Qigong had been that it was something very serious, and Master Li Junfeng was like, oh, smile, enjoy the movements. And I definitely felt like a heart opening, and it wasn't all a good feeling. Some of it was very emotional and painful at the time. But, just kind of like a long story short overview, that was the beginning for me with Sheng Zhen in October of 2006. And right away, I knew I wanted to teach. Like, I think I felt like I didn't really know what my passion or my calling was until then. And that day I was like, oh, this is it. And I bought the DVDs. I found out how to become a teacher. It took a couple of years. And, now I'm teaching and I love it. It's my favorite thing. So I think you also asked about what is Qigong? Do you want me to go into that or more about my background?
Yeah, let's talk about what is Qigong and the Sheng Zhen.
Okay, great. Yeah. So Qi in Chinese is vital life force energy. Gong is like work or process. So Qigong is like literally like energy work, or like the process of cultivating your energy. And so like I said, Sheng Zhen was originally called the Qigong of unconditional love. Over time, it's evolved into being called Sheng Zhen Meditation in Motion and Stillness. And we're still cultivating Qi, but the word Qigong is not really part of it right now, for reasons that I won't get into right now, but in my workshop, I'll explain more about that. So anyway, this energy cultivation, it's to bring in fresh, pure healing Qi, this energy from the universe, and to send out stagnant, murky Qi. So the idea is that when we have illness or pain, it's from this energy being blocked, like stagnant or stuck in our body. So just like with acupuncture needles, you can get the Qi flowing through Qigong, through gentle and mindful movement and breath, you can get that Qi flowing. So you bring in fresh, pure healing Qi, send out the stagnant, murky Qi. And then with Sheng Zhen, there's the added benefit of this focus on opening the heart and cultivating not only Qi, but the pure energy of love, of unconditional love. So Sheng Zhen literally means sacred truth. And we further define that as unconditional love, like the idea that the highest, most sacred truth is unconditional love. So when we open the heart, it helps us feel more joyful. It also helps to, they say that the heart is the commander of Qi, which is the commander of blood. So it gets the blood flowing, heart open, feeling more joy, more peace. And another thing about Sheng Zhen that I really love is that there are poetic contemplations that go along with a lot of the movements. So there's this inspiration, in addition to the movements, there are these contemplations, these words that help to kind of drive it in deeper and to inspire you and uplift you and comfort you and support you. And so that will be part of the workshop that I'll be offering.
Can you give an example of what a wording phrase would be in that poetic?
Yes, I can. I mean, I probably could from the top of my head, but I happen to have my booklet here. I've been teaching for so many years now that even though in class, like I read from my little booklet, I probably know them by heart now. But one of my favorite ones, let's see. So for one movement, we say the knot in the heart is the feeling of smallness that we know as fear, shame, or pain. It is slowly unraveled, so gently undone, setting the heart free to move once again. So that's just like a third of this one, for this one movement. So that's for a movement called Unraveling the Heart, where you're holding space for your heart to unravel, and for any of those like negative feelings, that pain, shame, fear, to just move through your heart, to release that and hold space for whatever you're feeling.
So letting go and letting the unconditional love come into you.
Yeah. And there are other words like I am safe, I am fearless, I am ready, like all these really uplifting, empowering, positive things.
And I get the impression, though, it's not just saying the words, because it's with a movement and in a meditative space. Because sometimes just saying the words, and for the energy to really move through you, it has to be a little bit more than just saying words.
Yes. So the movements and the words, I think, work really well together. To take each other deeper. So like one without the other is still good, but together they're more powerful. That being said, like if you can't do a movement, if you need to modify it or actually can't move at all, even just imagining, like thinking about doing the movement can be beneficial. And I think that that's been a really important message to share with people with Sheng Zhen.
Great. Well, then also we're at this particularly interesting time right now with the pandemic. How has this been helpful for you, this practice during this time?
Sorry, it's
Saver, right?
Yeah, how has it been helpful? Honestly, the very first thing that comes to my mind is even just because I've been practicing Sheng Zhen since 2006, and it's really been so healing for me and so helpful, like in my mental health. I feel like, um, at least in the beginning of the pandemic, I was handling it a lot better than a lot of people. Like I wasn't feeling super affected or depressed or stressed over it all. You know, over time, I started to feel like, come on, like enough already. but in the beginning, I felt like my attitude was so much more positive than a lot of people, to be honest. And I feel like that has to do with my Sheng Zhen practice, and the philosophy of Sheng Zhen. Um,
Mhm.
so it's been helpful that way. I also believe that it's helpful for the immune system, you know, getting the chi flowing, doing these movements. And then also for me personally as a teacher, teaching. I mean, being able to share this with people right now has been amazing. And I know it's been helpful for my students, and it's also been helpful for me to be able to offer that at this time and to do it online. So like right away when my in-person classes got canceled, I immediately switched to online. And for my students, some of the things that I've heard from them, I may have shared this with you before or through email, is like or it's on my website. One of them was like, I haven't smiled in 2 weeks. You know, like he came to a class after he'd been gone for a couple of weeks or something. And it's like, this is the first time I've smiled in 2 weeks. So, you know, it's that kind of feeling. And, you know, another student saying like, even just I send out a weekly email to people who are signed up, because I just want to keep them updated on each week, like what's being offered, because there might be a change. I've been doing it kind of like month by month. Things are changing so much all the time. And one of them said, like, even if I don't come to class each time, like just getting your email, like having that consistency, you know, and being reminded that it's there. And people tend to leave class or sign off from class feeling more at peace, more positive, more grounded.
Yeah, and it's important to even have any kind of a spiritual practice, so this meditation at this time, and to connect with other people. So having your classes online is a way to connect and not feel so isolated. I think that's been one of the issues, especially people who live alone.
Right. Yeah. And, you know, the connection too, that's a big theme with Sheng Zhen and this idea of unity and oneness. So feeling that sense of oneness and connection with the universe, with each other, even if we're not in the same room together, that's been really helpful.
Well, let's talk about the form of Sheng Zhen that you'll be teaching at the conference. So you call it awakening the soul.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the name of this form. So Sheng Zhen has, gosh, like 18 different forms, maybe 19. You know, a form is a series of movements, or it might be, well, it might be just one movement or position, or it might be like 20 movements, or positions. So Awakening the Soul is 8 movements, and it's a combination of movement and stillness. And they have those poetic contemplations. Some of the Sheng Zhen forms don't have the contemplations, but what I read to you came from Awakening the Soul. And Awakening the Soul, even though it's meant to be really good for like beginners and an introduction to Sheng Zhen, it wasn't the first form that was developed. In fact, there are some movements in it that are found in other Sheng Zhen forms.
Yeah, it's great. And so awakening your soul, how would you describe that to people?
What does that mean?
Yeah. I mean, well, everybody has their own idea of that.
Right, right. So, I mean, the main thing in Sheng Zhen is a focus on opening the heart. And awakening the soul is about really connecting with your heart and your soul, your inner knowing, connecting to the universe, and having that. I feel like in all of Sheng Zhen too, in addition to the focus on the heart, is this connection of the heart, the mind, of heaven and earth, and also having that be in your body, like be embodied and connected to earth.
Mm.
So, you know, like what it means varies for different people, but the result for people tends to be a feeling of, like I said earlier, like more joy, more peace, you know, more clarity too, feeling empowered, feeling better able to listen to like, the highest truth. Sheng Zhen is sacred truth, or the highest truth. So these contemplations and the movements help us get um, aligned and centered and open to receiving like that wisdom, or higher knowing, or inner knowing.
And so in that, it also like it's bringing together a healing of the body, mind, and spirit, like,
Yeah,
working with your, all your etheric bodies.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So why don't you share about your books, especially your new one?
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. So I recently published at the end of September. Oh, sorry, I just knocked my table. Yikes. Glad it didn't fall over. Oh my gosh. Okay, so at the end of September, I published Detox Your Life, which covers body, mind, home, and relationships. It's actually, it was originally going to be a chapter in the Multi-Orgasmic Diet, which I published in 2016, towards the end of 2016. And I thought I was going to write Detox Your Life pretty soon after that, but I didn't work on any books for a couple of years after that. So Detox Your Life is a guide to detoxing your body, mind, home, and relationships. And it's to help clean and clear anything that's like weighing you down, or it's kind of like what I was talking about with Qigong, actually. Like, when there's pain or illness, when it's like blocked, you want to like clean it out, clear it out. So you clean the energy, you clear the energy. So you want to clean and clear out your body, clean and clear out your mind, your home, clean up your relationships. And so it's a very holistic approach to detoxing, and just getting more energy by looking at these 4 different areas of your life, or of yourself: your body, your mind, your home environment, your relationships with people. So it's one thing I love about Detox Your Life. I'm actually about to read it myself, because even though I wrote it, I feel like I want to read it. And I also want to work on making like an online program for it. But one of my favorite things about it is that it's actually a really quick and easy read. It's only like, if you just read it from start to finish, it would take like 2 to 3 hours. And there are a lot of tips in there that are just very simple and easy to apply. And it's funny, actually, right away, like a lot of people who have read it brought up how, like, yeah, I didn't even realize how much I needed to drink more water, like just something that simple.
Yeah, we forget. We know these things,
Yeah.
we know we're supposed to, and we forget. I'm bad at that too. So
Yeah. And I'm really big on, I mean, with everything I offer, I'm really big on, like, and this comes through my book, I'm like, you can do all of this, or you can do some of it. Like, you pick and choose, like, it's up to you. Like, don't feel like you have to do it all, take what feels right, leave what doesn't. Yeah.
So does it show the exercises in there, the Qigong or the Sheng
I,
Zhen?
I do include a little bit of Sheng Zhen in there. I think I share 2 or 3 Sheng Zhen movements in there. And in the Multi-Orgasmic Diet, I actually have a whole chapter about Sheng Zhen and opening the heart. So I focused a bit more on it in that book.
Well, you also you were helped your master, Master Li Junfeng, rewrite his instructional books. And what was that like? So here you're working with a master, and he's the expert, and you're rewriting some of the material.
Yeah, it was really an incredible experience. So in the summer of 2012, so I'd been practicing and teaching Sheng Zhen for a while, for several years. And he always noticed that I took a lot of notes, like that I'd write really fast, take a lot of notes. And one day he asked, like, if I would help him rewrite one of the main books, the instructional part of it. And I agreed to, and I actually left Seattle to go down to Austin, which is where he lived. Like, I packed up my car, not knowing if I'd be gone for just, a few months or a few years or forever. And I went down there, and I helped him. I'd get together with him periodically. And what he'd do is he would do the movements for the forms and kind of talk through them. And, I'd type and I thought that what I'd be helping him with was actually to make it more detail oriented, but it turned out he wanted it to be less detail oriented, which I thought was really interesting. I mean, it's still, there's still details that you can learn it, but yeah, it was just funny to find out that it was like the opposite of what I thought it would be. And in addition to the one-on-one time I got to spend with Master Li working on the book that was so wonderful, I got to attend his classes at the acupuncture school that he taught at. He would teach like one full day a week, like from morning till evening, and I was able to go to those. So it was a huge learning experience and a gift for me to strengthen both my teaching skills and my own personal practice and understanding of Sheng Zhen. And I was down there for almost 2 years.
Oh, yeah, that's quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so you must be a pretty good teacher now.
Well, I'm still very detail oriented. So yeah, that's one of my things with teaching Sheng Zhen is I'm pretty detail oriented. And I also helped him write the instructional parts of the advanced organ forms. And I think those books, at least one of the books came out already. I'll have to double check. But the main book, the Sheng Zhen Wuji Wang Gong Return to Oneness book, actually just got published. It took a long time because, well, for a variety of reasons, it took a long time to get it published, even though we finished working on it way back then. And it's been published under a new name. I think it's just Sheng Zhen Meditation and Motion and Stillness now. And the pictures have been updated and have like arrows, like to help make it more clear, like the direction of the movement. So it's really nice.
Yeah, it's sometimes hard to picture. I'm kind of one that learns in person and following somebody, but to see figures in a book of how things move, you kind of go, what are they doing?
Yeah, and it was funny for me actually. I've never thought of this until this very moment. Is that it's kind of funny that I helped with the book because I don't learn movement through books. Like I got the DVDs right away, and now they still have DVDs, but there are videos that you can get online for Sheng Zhen. Like they have a free online school, and they have videos that you can buy and like download. And I can't even imagine trying to learn it from a book or only a book. I feel like really what the book is for, in my opinion, is it's best to have the book along with taking classes, or if you can't take classes, to have it along with the videos. So I think like the combination, like having videos, classes, a book, like if you really want to go deep into the practice and really get it like both physically right and really feel it and understand it and go deeper, then having all of that is important.
Yeah, great. Well, and your book encompasses a lot more than that. Like you said, you have one chapter of it in the book, so there's more for people too. So, what do you want people to take away from your workshop?
Well, let's see, I'll be teaching Awakening the Soul, and there might be people who come to it who have done some Sheng Zhen, but I imagine that the majority will be people who are totally new to Sheng Zhen. So I'd like people to take away from it that there's this really easy and even fun practice that can bring more peace, joy, and clarity to their life and improve their physical health along with their mental health. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm asking all the presenters to just share how your workshop fits in the theme, celebrating the spirit of women, united we are one. And you even talked about the united part of it in the beginning. I think you had shared about that being
right.
part.
Like, when I applied to lead this year, I don't think the theme had been set yet, but yeah, it's perfect because I do feel that Sheng Zhen really, Sheng Zhen helps you feel that oneness, that unity. So in addition to the connection with the other women who will be there when you get into, we call it the Sheng Zhen state, or like a heart state, open-hearted state. And when you get into that state, that Sheng Zhen state, you feel that you're merged with the universe. So it's not just open-hearted, it's also like this connected and oneness feeling. And so when you're practicing with other people or learning with other people who are doing the practice, if you're all in that state, you're all connected and you feel that unity.
Yes, and I know even in other spiritual practices that I do, that's even felt online and being in Zoom and connecting, the fact that we can see each other on a screen, but we can connect heart to heart.
Yeah.
And feel that just, I think that's the worry probably for, well, what will I get out of it being in Zoom? Well, I think people will get a lot.
Yeah, they will. And I've seen, I mean, like I said, I've been since March of last year. I mean, even before that, I did teach online occasionally, but since March of last year, I've only been teaching online 4 or 5 days a week. And yeah, people are getting a lot out of it and keep coming back.
Yeah, and it's so needed now, given, and we don't know how long, we're still going to be social distancing for a while. I don't think it's going to matter that we have a vaccine. The more you think about it, the more you learn about it. Yeah, it's going to take a while for us to get back to, well, and not even get back to what's kind of like, what's the new normal?
Yeah. And, one of the gifts of this practice and of class time or coming to a workshop is that we also talk about Sheng Zhen practice time being like a vacation. So one thing I often say when I'm teaching is, like, this is your vacation time. So it doesn't matter what's going on in your personal life or what's going on in the world right now. Like, this is just your time to like, let that all go, to enjoy the movement, enjoy your life, open your heart, so it's really like a break from the stresses and worries that are in the air right now. And when you come out of a class or a workshop, you're able to carry that into your life, at least for a while, before you have to do the practice again to remember. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was thinking too, in a way, it's probably like a lot of people are on Zoom because they're on Zoom for work. So they're talking to people and they're using their mind, and being, and then they get that Zoom fatigue where this will be a full, body, mind, spirit.
Right. You drop into your body more. And also, even though like at first when you're learning an actual movement, like how to get into the movement or do the movement, your eyes are open, there will be times where I'll be like, you can close your eyes now, like give your eyes a break, especially when I'm reading the contemplations. So I'll get to rest the eyes a little bit too.
Well, great. Well, it's great to have you on the show today, Rebecca.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Well, please give your website and people can find out more about you.
Oh yeah, it's www.rebeccacliogould.com. So that's REBECCA, C as in cat, LIOGOULD.com.
Great. And everybody, be sure to check out the womanofwisdom.org website. You can see all our offerings and see where when Rebecca is, which I said it's Friday afternoon, I believe, so March 12th. So yeah, this is Chris Stanis, a host on Voices of Women, and we look forward to seeing you in March at the Women of Wisdom Conference.